10 3-minute international contest in the heavyweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with a record of 13 wins, 3 losses with 11 KOs to his name. At yesterday's weigh-in, he scaled 16 stone, 6 pounds, and tonight he wears the black shorts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Gori, Georgia, Beqa Lobjanidze. And across the ring in the blue corner, a former British, Commonwealth and European champion with a record of 20 wins, 5 losses with 13 KOs to his name. At yesterday's weigh-in, he scaled 18 stone, 1 pound, and tonight he wears the white shorts. Please welcome from Finchley, London, Dereck Chisora. Your referee in charge of the action is Mr. Bob Williams of Watford. He will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Okay, lads, obey my commands. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing will go to the furthest neutral corner and stay there. Defend yourself at all times. Touch gloves, lads.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 3-minute rounds.
Was it just me, or was Lobjanidze just looking across the ring with a little bit of trepidation at Dereck Chisora as those announcements were made? Chisora took a bit of a tousling at the hands of Tyson Fury back in November. What's he got left? This is the first slightly tentative step back to show us that he still has a viable future in the heavyweight division. Lobjanidze just with defeats against Dillian Whyte, who's got his own big fight coming up against Anthony Joshua in September. He did him in 4 rounds, and since then lost to Otto Wallin in Sweden. Whoa. And now I think he's lost to Dereck Chisora as well. Tear up the notes, because I think that's it. Good night. And it's all over. First big shot, and Lobjanidze may well have looked at him with trepidation, because the first big right hand he took. Good night.
Well, that's one of Dereck's favourite punches, isn't it? That big, long overhand right. He usually hits with the fingers, let's be honest, but that time it looked like he turned his wrist over, and what a shot that was to finish the round. The heavyweight boxing. Never know what's going to happen.
Well. Didn't even get a chance to say the other defeat against Lobjanidze was against Robert Helenius, who Dereck Chisora would like to fight once more, having lost controversially on points back in 2011, and the big Finn is back fighting, and Chisora is eyeing him up, and he's going to be walking away and saying, yeah, I've still got it, everybody.
Well, the boys there, you know, there was Andy and Steve were saying, you know, that he's still only 31, you know, and a couple of losses don't make you a bad fighter. And he's only lost to good people, mind. You know, the Helenius loss was a ridiculous decision, but obviously the Fury loss was a bad. The second loss was a bad loss because he got thumbed in the eye, or so he says, and he underperformed. And the David Hay loss, but look how well he came back after the David Hay loss. You know, he got knocked out there, came back with some tremendous wins.
That's a good shot.
Good shot.
That is a quality shot.
And it's right on the button as well, isn't it?
Anthony Joshua, of course, is fighting Gary Cornish in September. Dillian Whyte is the one which the fans would like to see him take somewhere down the line.
Gary Cornish, that's a hard fight. I tell you, that's a hard fight for Joshua. And maybe this man now, he'll be in the mix.
Bosh.
He's back.
That was a good punch. It would have felled 1 or 2. That would, and I think he's rather happy. And well, he might be. Well, he might be. Here's Mark Burdis.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 29 seconds of the first round, the fight has been stopped. The winner by TKO in the blue corner from Finchley, London, Dereck Chisora.
Del Boy back. It only takes one. One was all it needed, and he's back as a winner.
29 seconds has to be the quickest win of Dereck Chisora's career. A thunderous right hand just above us that shook Wembley Arena. We'll hear from Del Boy in a moment. Let's get the thoughts. First of all, Steve Lillis, your thoughts on that. You spoke to him yesterday. You said how confident he was. He's come in good shape and has produced one of the biggest hits of his life there.
Fantastic punch. He did everything he could and more. You know, we all expected to win pretty easy. Let's be honest. He wasn't making his comeback against, you know, Sonny Liston. but he did it as well as you could have expected, with a terrific shot. It would have hurt a lot of good heavyweights. He can be well pleased with his work onwards and upwards, and I'm sure he'll be one of the hundreds of boxers who want to box in Limerick, I dare say, on September the 19th.
I would imagine so. You've got a decent dig in that right hand of yours. Have a look at this, what Dereck did after 29 seconds. Give us your thoughts, Andy.
I was very impressed. He saw that. He set it up nicely because he was throwing a jab out, and he saw that the Georgian was drawing his hands in close together, leaving the side of his chin exposed. And as he threw the jab out, he came around the side. That was a world-class punch. And there's some big fights still out there for Dereck Chisora. Not to mention Joshua Dillian White, Richard Towers. There's some great big fights out there for him, and he's right in the mix.
And he's proved he's got the ambition in this game as well. And all you guys can do, it doesn't matter us saying, well, he's not very good and he had a couple of bad defeats. You have to get rid of them. He did it spectacularly well.
That's what. And if you let those guys hang around long, they can make you look bad. He got in there, threw an impressive punch, knocked the guy out, and no, he looked in good shape. He was as good a shape as I've seen him in a long time.
Just before we chat to him, Steve mentioned it there. Would he have a nice warm welcome in Limerick, do you think, for Del Boy?
He definitely would, yeah. He definitely would.
Your home place, isn't it?
I'd love him over there.
Well, let's see if he fancies it. He's with Alex.
Yes, barely a bead of sweat after 29 seconds work. Dereck, how does it feel to be back?
You know what? The first time in my career, I was very nervous when I was in the changing room. I told everybody in my corner, like, I'm a bit nervous. So, like, you know what? Just go in there and just do what you want to do. You know, me and Gary have been training since I lost my last fight with Tyson. And he showed me some new tricks, and I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to be a buzzing year for me this year.
How has that been sort of emotionally, sort of moving away from Don Charles into New Yard? How has all of that been in a completely new camp?
It's difficult, you know. It's like divorcing your wife, you know. Me and Don, we've been together since I was like 16, and it was heartbroken, but you know what, it was the right career, it was the right move for me, and then I think in the long run he will see it as the right move for me as well.
What are your ambitions?
Right now, to be honest with you, I would like to challenge for the European title in Germany, you know, with a guy who knocked out David Price. You know, I think I got the remedy. I can sort him out, I can fight him. You know, if that fight happens, I will run and do that in September.
And then beyond that?
Beyond that, we'll just do that one, that's it. But, you know what?
That's it? Or one fight at a time?
One fight at a time, you know, beyond that, we'll just do something else after that. And then but everybody keeps talking about this Russian kid, Ustinov. But to be honest with you, if the fight happens and it's great contract, there's good money in it for me, I would love to do it in Russia because I got bigger fans in Russia, and I'm embarrassing them in front of the Russian fans. That is a simple fact.
I've got one more question for you, which I'll come back to. One for Francis Warren, first of all. He's mentioned Erkan Tepper, who won the European, of course, against David Price just the other day on Box Nation. How are you going to move him in the short term?
Well, yeah, no, I think that's definitely an option going for the next fight. But you know, we want to be. Dereck needs to be fighting names and fighting meaningful fights. You know, tonight was about getting off a bit of ring rust and getting back in the swing of thing under the lights and in front of a crowd. But you know, you got the names out there. I mentioned Ustinov, Tepper. You got Brown as well, Stavern. So you know, there's some names out there that within a couple of fights, Dereck should be back up the top there or thereabouts. But you know, I think European. You know, he missed that. He got robbed of the European title before, so maybe that's something that he wants to put right, and that'd be a great fight for him.
Excellent. John Rawlings wondering what your ring walk music is.
You know, that's a great artist from Zimbabwe. You know, I like to support all artists, to be honest with you, and he's a legend in my own country. So I figured out let me blaze a bit of his music. But at the same time, I want to dedicate this fight here. Yeah, most people always watch boxing when fighters are in the ring, but what happens behind the scenes, they don't look at it, they don't see it. And you know, one of my dear friends right now just told me today he's retiring, Ernie. You know, he's a glove man. He's the one who sorts everybody out, what time to be at the weighing, what time to be in the changing room and stuff like that. And I just want to dedicate this knockout for him. It's not for nobody else, it's for him, Ernie. And I wish you all the best.
Excellent stuff.